food was great as always, so thanks to Larry. All you did. And Nick, based on last night's meeting, here's a Paul Harris fellow thing that fell on the floor over there. So I felt your pain last night, and it's pretty. Today's speaker is Maureen McAvoy. I met Mo at the senior center. Not that she goes there. I think it was Thanksgiving, and our Thanksgiving potluck we do, and she was the entertainment. So she flags a little today in her presentation. She said she'd sing for us. She has been deeply involved in the travel industry, both with the Chambers of Commerce and Sonoma County for our Bureau of Tourism. She is now working with certified travel ambassadors, I think that's right, in Sonoma County, and helping us do a better job of understanding how to get people in the town. We have something conveniently in September that will be a tourist destination. So I think this is great timely news for us, and Mo's a great presenter, and we look forward to hearing what she has to say. Mo McAvoy.
Just an overall question. Do you remember the brochure that you looked at 10 years ago to go to a place, or do you remember their logo or their tagline? No. Do you remember a person that you might have been on that trip? Yeah. That's what we remember. And so over the years, I've just developed a passion for watching people come into Sonoma County on their vacation. I've heard of these places I told you that I spent 14 years of my life were in visitor centers. So when I was in Santa Rosa for 10 years at the Little Depot, Railroad Square, the Little Depot, that's where I was. My office was the ladies' waiting room, so that was about, but I sat there for years. But during that time, we welcomed about 500,000 people into that little building. And I got to see firsthand what happens when someone arrives on their vacation to Sonoma County. It's quite a moment when you arrive. You get there, you worked hard, you saved your money, and you've chosen that place, and then you meet the person and you say, I don't know where to go, what should I do? And in that moment, a magical thing can happen, or it can all kind of fall apart. Somebody can say, well, here's a visitor guide, and there's a bunch of good stuff in there, and I would have a good time, or they can say, you know what my favorite thing to do is? The first thing I would do is I would go to Omelet Express and get yourself a cup of coffee and some oatmeal, because we don't want you to taste wine until you've had your breakfast. And here's some things you can look at while you're over there, and Dawn will help you over at Omelet Express if you need anything, and here's some things you can do today. And what a difference that makes, right? So having had that passion sort of in me for a long time, I had a very fortuitous conversation with Sonoma County Tourism with Ken Kasham. He is the CEO of Sonoma County Tourism. And he's a great man. He's been there for about 10 years. And he called me one day when I was working at the Fieldsburg Chamber. He said, I need to talk to you about something. He said, I've got this project, and I need somebody to help me do it. I don't know what to do. So we sat down and talked, and he said, I realized that we are welcoming to Sonoma County. We have 7 million visitors coming a year, spending $1.5 billion. Get your brain around that in 12 months, right? That's what happens here every year. And we're out there marketing, we're all over the world, we're telling people to come here, we're producing all this material, but when they get here, we're not talking to the people who are actually helping them. We have no training program for them. We have no way to tell them more about Sonoma County and the message that we're giving. So So he bought this program called Certified Tourism Ambassador. And he said he needed somebody to launch it. And when he told me what it was, it's like, well, what we want you to do is just to go out there and gather up as many people who work on the front line, either volunteers or employees, in the wineries and the hotels, in the airport bus, as many people as you can find, and get them in a room and tell them, teach them about Sonoma County and teach them how to treat people when they're here. And I don't know if you ever had one of those moments where someone's talking to you and you're either like go asleep and you're like, I don't want anything to do with that, or you go, oh, that's what I'm gonna do. Did you have one of those moments where you just know? So I quit my job. I'm like, I'm doing it. And I just leaped out. I leaped in faith. I totally leaped in faith to do this. And 3 years later, I have to tell you, it's been one of the most extraordinary experiences I've ever had in all my 40 years of tourism. Because this program is so simple, but it's so cool. And the reason it's been so such a great experience for me is that I hoped that maybe 500 people would show up and take the classes. And I was kind of crossing my fingers on that. I can teach the classes fast enough. My buddy Debbie back here, I needed help. The classes were filling up, The first year I certified 1,000 people. 1,000 people. And for 3 years I've certified almost 1,500 ambassadors. And I don't advertise, I don't market, it's word of mouth. People tell somebody and then they tell somebody else and someone comes and takes a class. And what happens is kind of this really cool thing. There's 19,000 jobs tourism is responsible for in Sonoma County. It's a lot of people employed because of tourism. It's a kind of a ripple effect, right? So you might even count some of the gas station attendants or the barista and the anybody who has a business who's really affected by tourism. And that's a lot in this county, right? So it goes way beyond hotels and wineries. So what we found was, you have the front desk clerk at the Dega Bay Lodge, and then you have the winery tasting room person in Sonoma, and they're both getting asked the same question 100 times a week, Where should I go? Gee, I'm done tasting wine. Is there anything else I can do? Yeah, I think I'm going to the coast. What should I do over there? And what we found is that people would go to work and they would just, they go to work and they knew their surrounding area. Like they might know, if they work at Sebastopol, they may know how to tell you how to get to Sebastopol. Maybe tell you what you do in Santa Rosa. Wouldn't know how to tell you what to do in Sonoma or the Pacific Coast. So we give them this big, wonderful, fat history book, and they read it. And people love this book. It's all about Sonoma County. It's a history of Sonoma County and things to do in the coming class. And I think the class is a 4-hour class. They spend 4 hours with me, and we do a lot of fun exercises. One of the things we do is itinerary planning. So I set the timer, and I give them 5 minutes to plan an itinerary for somebody. Why? Have you ever been on vacation and you're in a hurry and you want to get going on your day and you stop at an information center? Do you really want that person to tell you everything they know and take 2 hours of your time? Or do you want them to put together something that you can do really quickly? So it's a skill. So we teach that. We also teach them about the county so they can share with each other. We have like an hour in the class where they just say, here's my favorite taqueria, here's my favorite place to eat clam chowder, here's my favorite theater. They exchange information too. So at the end of this 4 hours, they get a certificate, and a pin. It's my shiny star. You see hundreds of those all over the county. We're not airline pilots, so don't ask us when the next flight is taking off. But you'll see them wearing those. And then they network, which is really cool. So there's this whole great referral system going on where this winery is referring to that restaurant that's referring to this transportation company, and they become sort of like you all. Sort of like you all. And the other, sometimes you do things and you have an intended consequence, and then there's unintended consequences that happen from it, right? So the sort of unintended cool thing that happened was that every major event, and I'm going to also help you if you want it, every major event in Sonoma County, every major event that I know of, everything from the Taste of Sonoma to the Sonoma County Fair, the Harvest Fair, the Apple Fair, to the Big Fireworks, the Cajun Festival's on my list now. They all called me and said, you know what, we need volunteers, but we need we want to step up the volunteers that we're getting. We just don't want anybody volunteering. We want somebody who's trained concierge who can really make a difference and really welcome the visitors to our area. So the CTAs are on the front line now of all these major events. And last year, before that, Kendall Jackson Heirloom Tomato Festival, we had a lot of CTAs there for the Press Democrat North Coast Wine Challenge and helping them again. I think about 95% of their volunteers were CTAs. And they loved it because they had all these people from out of town, sophisticated wine drinkers, and they were able to answer questions. So that's been sort of the unintended consequences happening from all this. Just for fun, I just wanted to do a real quick exercise that we do in our class. We teach a lot of history. So I'm sorry I don't have any chocolates with me. It's called History and Chocolates. And if you get the right answer, I'll give you a Snickers bar. But I thought today, if I ask you a history question and you happen to know it, I will invite you to, as my guest, to take our class in the CTA. So you don't get to answer these questions because she's one of my teachers. So does anybody know what was the first California winery? Does anybody know the first winery in California?
Buena Vista.
Oh, wait, I forgot to give you the rules. You have to raise your hand and I have to call. Yes.
Buena Vista.
There you go. Okay, Buena Vista, you get a class. I give you your card. Do you know who was the father of the Golden Gate Bridge? Raise your hand.
Frank
You know the
Doyle.
answer, don't raise your hand. Yes. Frank Doyle. Okay. You said Frank Doyle. It was like a ballet move. Frank Doyle. Well, this is great for the bonus, and you have to, don't burn out the answer till I call you. What board of directors did Frank Doyle serve on when he was known as the father of the
Exchange Bank.
He was, but not on that board. Yeah, he worked for Exchange Bank. Any other?
Golden Gate Board District.
No, Pam might know.
Stanley Junior College.
No. Yes.
Bank of America.
No.
Wells Fargo.
No. I love that you don't know this. But in the interest of time, I'm going to tell you the answer because it's really important to our community. He was the president of the board of directors for the Santa Rosa Chamber of Commerce. And it was actually the Santa Rosa Chamber of Commerce board that conceived the idea of building the Golden Gate Bridge to build a bridge of commerce from Sonoma County to San Francisco. So that's good. See, you didn't know that? It's temporary. Okay. I'll give you one more easy one. Let's see. This is a fun one. When did winemaking begin in Sonoma County and who started it? This is a kind of a tough one that we ask our CTAs to know. So I want the year and the people who were responsible for winemaking and where it started. It's a tough one, right? But believe me, visitors want to know this stuff. They want to know these kinds of things. It wasn't Ernest Gallo, yes.
Science was colony 1862.
Many people guess that is actually before that. Yes.
General Vallejo in 1802.
No. What do you think yes? Yes. Asty. Verasti in 55. These are all answers that are like right winemaker answers, but the real one is, I'm going to step to again, was the year 1812, and it was the Russian colonists who planted the first grapes in Fort Ross. And that was followed by the Spanish in 1825. Yeah, so those are the kinds of things we ask. We have a few classes to give away here. The objective of the program, and well, let me just go here for a second and tell you this. When visitors ask questions, like who do you think a visitor might ask a question to when they're in Sonoma County wandering around? Who might they ask a question to? Tasting room waiters, anybody?
7-Eleven clerk.
7-Eleven clerk. The gas station driver.
Person on the corner.
Yes. The front desk of the hotel, absolutely. Are these people likely to give good information?
No.
Maybe, maybe not, right? It doesn't matter if they give the right answer to a visitor, an accurate answer. Yeah, it does matter. It matters a lot. And here's why it matters. And this is a really cool statistic because on a given day in Sonoma County, on an average day in Sonoma County, we have 7,040 hotel or motel bed and breakfast rooms occupied by 13,376 people. And these 13,376 people have an average of 2 encounters every day where they're asking a visitor type question. So that means there's 26,750 opportunities every day to get it right, for them to answer the question and for them to help the visitor. So it's a really big statistic that's going on here. You can see why it's so important, right? So the objective of the CTA program is to increase regional tourism by inspiring frontline hospitality employees and volunteers to create a memorable experience for the visitors. This is what we want. We just want everyone who leaves Sonoma County to have a memorable experience. And you all raised your hand when I asked if you travel, right? When you go to a place and you save up your money and you go on a vacation, whatever that might be, and you have a negative experience and something goes wrong, do you go back there usually? Do you cross it off your bucket list? Yeah. There's a lot of places to go, right? If you have a great experience, are you more likely to go again? Are you more likely to tell a friend about it? Anybody use social media? Yeah. It used to be you could tell like 1 or 10 friends, you know, oh, we had a great time. Now it's like one post and boom, 1,000, right? Or what about TripAdvisor? What can that do to a destination? So fortunately for Sonoma County, that's why we're trying to be prepared here. So we've been out there on the front lines marketing for years and years. So it's like now let's where the rubber meets the road. Let's change every one of those experiences, every one of those transactions into a memorable one, and it's working. There's kind of a critical mass out there. So now you've got like. And I'm not saying that the service levels weren't good, because actually there was a study done here before the CTA program started that really got pretty good service levels. But now we're going to be able to see incrementally where you have that, it's not just a, gee, I think I'll be nice to a visitor today depending upon how I feel. It's actually an intention that we planted, and it's a cultural shift that we made with people. So, let's see what else I wanted to tell you. I think I would like to share a little bit about the why of that. I mean, it kind of makes sense that you want to be treated nicely when you're on vacation, right? But this is what I've learned from kind of being a student of service, if you will. I've kind of made it my life's passion. And that's that we all have these basic human needs in life. And I think you can go across the board that when you're human, we have certain things that we all need. One of them is to trust. You want to trust. One of them is to be made to feel important. You know, you want to feel important. You want to feel appreciated. Right? We also want to feel safe and secure. Very, very high up on our human need levels to feel safe and secure. To feel nurtured. And we also want to feel like we belong. We belong. You know, we're in Rotary. Y'all feel like we belong here, right? And the other thing is to not to have to make decisions. Sometimes we just don't want to make decisions. Do any of those resonate with any of you? Yes.
Most of them.
Most of them, right? Because we're humans, right? So what happens when you put your little belongings in a suitcase and you get on a plane, flying up in the middle of the air, going a million miles an hour, it's a tuna can. I just don't even like to think about while I'm reading my magazine. And then you land in a foreign country, or you land in a place you've never been, you get off. Are those things in balance? Right? Do you feel safe and secure, maybe, in a foreign country? Maybe, maybe not. You don't know who to trust. You want to go to a trustworthy person. Do you ever feel like you want to just, like, the big thing now in tourism is experiences. Like, it's not that we want to do something, we want to experience, just want to see it, we want to experience it. So I just spent my whole day yesterday in San Francisco with the Travel Outlet Forum talking about what visitors want, what the psychology is when you travel. You want to have an experience. You want to have an experience like the locals. What that means is you want to feel like you belong there. You don't just want to feel like a visitor that's got the visitor sign, I'm a visitor. You want to feel like, hey, winemaker guy, show me, take me back, show me something cool. I want to see behind the scenes, right? Barrel tasting. 20,000 people come out for barrel tasting. Why? They get to go behind the scenes, right? So those are all the things that we feel when we travel. And so what we teach the CTAs is when you want to fire on all those cylinders and make sure that the visitor in front of you feels important. They feel like they belong. That they know where to go. That they know how to get to the next place. Directions are always in balance when you're traveling in a rental car on country roads and your phone doesn't work. Let's make sure that they feel safe and secure. So this is the kind of the little description of what we're doing out there, and it's been pretty cool. And I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about the Certified Tourism Ambassador Program. It's got some legs now. It's been going on for a while, I believe. We also do recognition every year to 6 different CTAs in each of the regions of Sonoma County. And then we also, we love a big annual awards lunch, and then we have a CTA of the year. And Ms. Deborah Klein was our CTA of the year last year. And she is, I don't need to tell you about her because she's one of the tribe here, right? So if you can imagine, we have like 1,400 Debbies out there in the community out there doing good. So.
I'm signing autographs later.
So I want to leave a little bit of time for questions in case you have. I'm sure I just covered this a bit of what we do, and so questions, yeah.
So when I go out, what'd you say? So when I go out, I often am looking at Yelp or something like that. So let's say that I'm walking down the street and a tourist comes up to me and says, hey, what's there to do? I'm going to say, well, I know where you can go buy Ford. I know where you can get your taxes done. I know where, and if you don't like any of that stuff, I've got a lawyer for you. You should. But what about beyond Yelp? What about, do you have like a website or some contact that we can say, I know what you should do. Let's connect you with the tourism board and we'll find something local. Do you have something that just sort of shows a radius?
Yes.
We can go onto your website and we can look it up and say, this is the place to go?
Thank you so much. Yes, SonomaCounty.com. SonomaCounty.com. And we're in SonomaCounty.com. There's itineraries, there's everything. It's very, actually it's kind of cool. This guy from Google yesterday at Jim's talk, he did an analysis of all the websites of like 20 different businesses in the room, and we were up there like number 9 in terms of our mobile search. So on your phone, it works really nicely. So you can plug anything you want in there, and we have 14 visitor centers in Sonoma County. 14. So you can send every single visitor center, has certified tourism ambassadors in the visitor center, including right here in Sebastopol. So that would be a good place to send them. Yeah.
So I have a comment on the way into work today on the radio, talking about Sonoma County and social media. The person talking said, well, it blasted apparently all over Facebook. Will Ferrell, the actor, was in town yesterday, had a flat tire, and he said 3 strangers stopped and helped him fix the tire, and he says, never anywhere else in the world at Sonoma County would people jump up and help, and I didn't see it, but now it's all over Facebook and radio and excellent. Well, Sonoma County rocks.
And I will tell you, and I'm not faking, I'm happy to do this program. I'm happy because I get to meet people who would pull over and change tires, because that's who we are. There is such a goodness in this county, and the visitors feel it. And it's a contrast to some other places that they travel. I'll leave it like that, yes.
What are like the top 5 questions that tourists ask? I mean, what are the most common thing they're looking for besides wine? I know that's the big draw, but what else do they want to do when they're here?
Well, the number 1 reason people travel to Sonoma County is, does anyone know?
Wine. Bicycle.
It's not wine.
Redwood.
Cycling.
More close to redwoods.
Beach.
Scenic beauty.
Yeah.
Yes. So people want to know how they can get into nature. They want to know where they can hike. They want to know where they can hike, where they can walk, the Academy's beach. They want to know about that. They want to know where they can do things about it. The locals, a lot of people come here for food. We're a real foodie destination. So, people come here a lot for the makers, like, you've really got a good thing going in the Barlow, that's really neat, beautifully over here. You know, where are the winemakers? Where are the cheesemakers? Where are the farmers? So people want to know about that. Definitely wine, huge question. How many wineries can I do in a day? Can I do 10? No. You can do 3, and you cannot drink any more. So, yeah, so those are the types of questions that they ask. And directions.
So I travel town all over the place, and I tell people where I'm from, and I say it's a wine country up north. And almost all the time I say, oh, Napa. So you have a lot of statistics. Do you track the reputation we have versus Napa? Does it matter?
Yes, there's a lot of research been done about that, and I think in marketing, you always have to find your unique point of difference. And so, we're very careful. We would never. Destination marketing is built on positive messaging. You always want to be positive in your messaging. You never want to be negative. So the truth is that Napa is an iconic, legendary wine destination, right? It's just undeniable what an amazing place it is. Well, what do we have that's different that we can talk about? So,
You ever been to the coast in Napa?
so I think there's that diversification. I really don't like the word diversification, but we just have it's about our product that we have. And so the way you can track something like that is, back I don't know how many years ago, I think it was, we were at probably about 4 million visitors, and now we're at 7. We were at about $800 million in spending. We're at $1.5 billion in spending. Have we moved the needle? Absolutely. And part of the reason we moved it is, if you look at our visitor guides, I'm sorry to bring this to you, but what we're showing are people on the coast. Yes, they have a glass of wine in their hand sometimes, but they're doing other things, and our new I don't know, slogan, but kind of our brand we're moving towards is passion. It's pursue your passions. And when you say that, it goes beyond wine. And I think instead of being a monoculture, I think we're this incredible diversity.
Tell people about it. And we also have a door prize.
The last four are 7323, 7323. Close. 7323.
Try again. There we go.
Rich get richer.
No.
Shaw from Jerry. Jerry.
Now, I heard this story from one of Brian Bauer's sons who go to Cal. First week of school, students in the dorm, the dean had a meeting in the largest auditorium. And he said, I want to explain to you some rules about dorm life. Number 1, boys are not to be in the female dorm. Number 2, females are not to be in the male dorm. The first time cost $60, the second time $120, and the third $180. Are there any questions? Hand goes up in the back from a boy. He says, is there a season pass?